Hello, I'm going to be doing my review of Metroid Prime 4, and I just want to state that I will be separating it into different categories, and this is the Switch 1 version because I do not have a Nintendo Switch 2. Um, when I get one and I happen to get the upgrade, I'll do that, but I just will consider the Switch 2 version probably is an improvement in some manners, or at least hopefully. Let's see here. Yeah, that'll be fun. I also need to mention that the development cycle of the game, from what I understand, of what's been stated, I guess, by Nintendo, is the development cycle was actually almost more like, so instead of 5 or 4 years or something like that, not the 18 people have been saying, because apparently, I think it was a Nintendo Direct, it was announced, and Nintendo apologized to it, which I thought was kind of interesting, because they almost like never apologize for things, but they said they were scrapping Metroid Prime 4, their project, and booting it up again from scratch as a brand new thing under the development of Retro Studios, which the previous company it would have been with, I don't remember what it was. I think it was the same company that did Metroid Other M. I could be wrong, but I think that was it. So this being like a normal development cycle for what they do normally for Metroid games, you know, or other games in the Nintendo franchise, which are about 3 to 4 years on average. I'm gonna say this game, we're going to start with saying there probably is going to be spoilers, so if you're worried about spoilers, just know that this game, I've given it, for the Switch 1 version, an 8 out of 10. Metacritic, I'd probably like an 80 or 81 out of 100, I kind of feel. Let's see. I also would like to state that the thing with the amiibo, the amiibo I got just to look into it was the Silex one, and I got the one with Samus riding the vehicle named Viola, which basically, from what I understand, the music one, I knew at the time, before the game was even out, I knew it was being scalped, and it was going to be scalped, and the day or two after release, I was like, yeah, this is, actually it was the day of release. There were already people buying them up, and reselling them from being like $30 to like 50 plus. So, and I understand, but in my opinion, visually, everything too, the amiibo are kind of neat for collector things, but they shouldn't be needed for using an overall game feature. A thing that should have been in a game on, you know, prior patch or update, anything. Just part of a final overall design. And I guess that one, it's the music, like you can listen to a playlist from in-game music, and yeah. Let's see here. I guess it'd be from it's locked in the game file somewhere, and just the amiibo unlocks it. And what the bike one with Samus does, which you could sometimes find that for less than 30. I got it for like 20. It's it unlocks skins, and it lets you see progress, you know, via numbers of green energy they call that you've collected. Silex unlocks a cutscene that is, despite its spoilers, more around his origins, like what's his motivation and such. And that's kind of cool to get answered, because, you know, I was kind of wondering, like, why is Silex, you know, so hell-bent doing this stuff, but, you know, it's gonna give the answer there. Whoop. Let's see. Now, continuing on from the amiibo, I am going to say, just kind of like the flow of this game, what it looks like, it, you know, takes place, all this stuff, and then I'll go into graphics and go from there. So basically, the game takes place after Metroid Prime 3, and the story and gameplay, visuals, everything. I sort of kind of want to go into graphics first, get this done, which is why I'm going like the style and everything. It's kind of closer to if they did something with Metroid Prime Hunters and did the graphics higher end of things. If you want to look at the style, you'll see what I'm talking about, like, oh, okay. And some things a little bit there, Federation Force, which those games, Prime Hunters was released on the Nintendo DS, and Metroid Prime Federation Force was released around the same time for the Nintendo 3DS as Metroid 2, Return of Samus, which is a remake. And the next thing I want to say why I'm bringing that up is, you will notice, like, the UI and everything, if they combine what they did with Hunters and Federation Force, you pretty much are going to know exactly how the game is going to work. You just need to get yourself comfortable with the controls. Which I use stick controls because I think that's just more comfortable, and it's basically the same control setup as Metroid Prime Remake. I guess they call it Remastered, Metroid Prime Remastered. So graphically, to add the score, I'm going to do it to add up to the 80 in a way. I'd say out of 10, it's about a 7.5, and this is the Switch version, so 7.5, 7.6. And when I say Switch version, I mean, clarify again, Switch 1. Let's see. Audio, because you kind of want to cover that. It's important. To me, the sound effects, the detail with objects as far as interactions with them, whether it be foreground, background, it's actually really good. But the part I'm trying to be nice here and say is the music itself is not something I care for, so it kind of almost makes me kind of like, well, I'm glad I didn't get that amiibo, because it's really not that good. The best way I can describe the music without
give it your all,
ruining it for everyone, although this review, but basically, imagine like your favorite Metroid song from either somewhere in the Prime series or some of the older ones. They add an annoying kind of like hum or whistle kind of thing to it, and then also imagine it being just maybe they take one little part of that and make it a really boring remix. That's kind of the best way I describe it. So it wasn't so much that it's bad in the sense that the music is lacking in variety or anything. It's bad in the sense that the music is just like worse mixes of music they've done in the past, like if you heard Magmore Caverns from Prime Remastered, or any of the older variations, those sound, you know, cool, you could recognize that. So imagine just Magmore Caverns and all you hear is some of the drums, and I think they kind of make it faint where you can hear there's like a little something else, but you can't really tell what it is. And so it's like they took that and ruined it, or made it worse, so I just felt that was not good. So for me, honestly, the music, like, is one of the biggest things with the Metroid series. It's iconic. It'd be like if they changed Zelda's theme or music and things, and everyone would be like, why? Like, oh, just because it's really bad when they changed the Mario theme. So because of the music, even though the sound effects and sound aesthetics with the visuals and foreground and background are good, that the music really kind of pulls me out of it. So out of a 10, I'd give the music like a 5, just to be unbiased, even nice about it. Otherwise, if it was my opinion, I'd give it maybe a 2. But I'm saying this because I want, you know, if they're gonna do more future projects and stuff, just to keep in mind that some things are better left. You know, you don't need to try and improve something when there's no need to improve it. It's the best way to put it. Let's see here. I guess with the focus on gameplay I'm about to do next. Well, actually, no, before I do gameplay, I will go over a little bit of one of the other things people were saying they're upset about, and that's the characters, story, and I'm just gonna say it, like, the CPUs, like the, whatever you want to call them, the side characters, it's not that bad. In fact, I really kind of feel like it makes sense when you look at them, how they sound and things, like, alright, I could kind of see that. And you look at the character design, where they were stationed, etc., etc. Basically, they're different kinds of, I guess you could say, not soldiers, but they're parts of the Galactic Federation. One's a high-level engineer that was doing research at the time on that base. The other is, one's a sergeant, one's a, I think, private or lieutenant, and the other one is, I don't remember, but they're a specialist as far as like range and combat. And then the last one, of course, you'll see in the game is interesting. I thought it was kind of interesting they did this. A machine, like an AI kind of thing. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And the way they did it makes sense within the universe of Metroid, I guess. I'm trying to think how to say it, because it's actually just galaxy-wide. Let's see here. Yeah, so the characters and interactions, everything, we're gonna go with, like, progressing through the story and everything, how you can get stuff. I'd say that's a, I'm gonna say it's about a 7.7 or 7.8 out of 10. And if you want to make it where you want to mute the characters, you can. By the way, there's an option in settings where you can take the voice volume and lower it all the way down to whatever volume you want, 0. And you can turn off the tutorials, which that's a thing if you really want to. The tutorials kind of show you, oh, this is what this is. And then that's, for the rest of the game, you have the outro. The last thing I would like to say about the gameplay, of course, I kind of want to mention controls, but which I use stick. You could use stick, or the other option is they call I think mouse mode. The Switch one, they still call it something like pointer, because if you played Metroid Prime Remastered, which would be the closest one you can get to it right now for controls, you would know what I'm talking about, and it actually works pretty nice. I just, for how hard the game is, and have experience playing some of these other games, right, I would say you're going to have probably a lot better time, more fun, using stick controls. And the reason I bring that up with the game is because the game feels, gameplay-wise, if they combined Metroid Prime Hunters with Metroid Prime Federation Force and tried to give it like a Metroid Prime 3 Corruption aesthetic with some one or two gameplay things there. That's the best way I think I could describe the gameplay without it getting too spoilerish or anything. And there's 3 parts in the game that are really, genuinely, really hard. And I say that because if you play these other games I mentioned, Hunters or Federation Force, there are spikes, like random things will suddenly be like, okay, that's hard. Like, I think, well, the parts I'm going to mention, there's one part kinda and the level where you're just trying to get your bike. Alright, you're gonna come across these enemies that I'm sure you've seen in the trailer, they're like robots. They actually will do a lot of damage. And on hard mode, you can actually get killed in like 4 hits basically. So you have to like do whatever you can to not get hit, but then you have, you know, only so much space to move around and stuff, so it's very interesting. And the gameplay, some of it reminds me of Hunters, like a lot of Hunters. The next part that's really hard is there's a part in the game where you go underground. That's the next part. And that's not trying to give too many spoilers. And the last part, of course, that would make sense and hopefully be really hard is the final boss of the game. And when you fight the final boss, I don't really want to say because that's too many spoilers, you will basically realize like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because everyone was kind of wondering, how did Silex survive? And it was one of the things I was thinking it might be, but at the same time, I'm just like, it'd be kind of hard to prove because, you know, there's only so much that was detailed in the Metroid Prime Hunters game. So, I basically am going to have to give the game, as far as gameplay, because, you know, it's a game, the most important part, like 9 out of 10, because it does what it's supposed to do, and it works. I haven't run into any game-breaking bugs or anything. The only thing that maybe might be, I don't think you consider a bug, there's sometimes a little slowdown here and there, but it's the Switch 1 version, so I figure that's all ironed out. Let's see. And I'd also have to say, as far as story and characters, I'd give that about like, you know, with it all flowing together, the story, characters, pace of the game, going, exploring, finding things, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. Like, it's not my favorite Metroid, but it's still good, it's still fun. So I'm basically gonna give it the final rating here again, which is at the beginning. I gave it like a 80 out of 100 kind of deal, which, you know, it's the Switch version. So I would say that's pretty much right on there. The thing that hurt the most, surprisingly, was not the characters, it was music. And yeah, like I said, some of the things are like voice acting might bother people, and that's fine. It's not as wordy as Metroid Other M. Which the main problem with Metroid Other M, by the way, wasn't gameplay. It was, because it's actually kind of a fun game. It was the fact that you'll watch something unfold, right? You'll do something, and then Samus will go into a monologue, say exactly what you just saw, what happened. And so you hear this analytical kind of thing about you just destroying a boss. You're like, okay, yeah, it just happened. Which, if they didn't do that every time, it probably would have been a better game to endure and sit through. And some of the bosses, there's a couple in there that are actually 3 of them that are really cool. So as much as, you know, people hated on Other M, and I've hated on it quite a bit too, it's not that bad. My major criticism about it is it looks like it was meant to be a movie rather than a game.
3, 2, 1, go!
Sorry, found it funny. So yeah, I'd say that's my review there. I will... I'd recommend, if you have a Switch 1, you're not going to go Switch 2 anytime soon, and you want to try the game, it works, it's good, it's fun. Just expect it to be a little closer to, like, gameplay-wise as Prime Hunters or Federation Force, like a combination of those. The power-ups you get, they're almost like built-in features on your, like, suit things. You know, so you get your normal stuff, but the only thing Samus actually gets from her normal attire, her suit, that she, you know, gets a bunch of things other games, is her super missiles, which, to be fair, that's a throwback to how it's used to the Metroid Prime Hunters, so I really do feel and see this game being like, they're like, okay, we have to have something now. You know, we have about this much time to get done, and to get the game out, even though we're starting from scratch, and I feel like what they did, as far as starting over, they went with Silux, and then they, you know, going after Metroid Prime 3, and they're like, okay, let's implement all these other different features in here that we know are there. And people didn't really get to use too much because Prime Federation Force wasn't sold. Like, it didn't do well. And although I have it, I enjoy aspects of it, it's just the game... It's different because it requires almost more co-op. Hunters, I understand people might not be able to play that because it's... Last time it was released was on the DS, and I think they have... You could play it on the 3DS, I guess, but... I haven't done anything with that since, and that was before Metroid 2 released. But yeah, that's the basic bottom line here is the game is a solid 80-81 out of a 100. I'd put it in, like, if you want to give it like a rank of letter grade, like a B, I guess. And yeah, I don't think there's anything more I need to cover with it. Gameplay, it's a fun game. I played the Switch 1 version, so I'm sure the Switch 2 is an improvement. Let's see. Oh yeah, I covered everything with as few spoilers as possible. Alright, thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you please. Or if you do, that'd be highly appreciated, and have a great day.